Dan Crow and Jim Faisal started their garden in Perry, Michigan 12 years ago, and it's still growing. Using turf for pathways through the colorful summer beds requires a bit of maintenance, but Spike the dog seems to think it's worth it. A tall rustic arbor leads into one of the newer areas in the 2-acre garden. Your garden has a lovely informal feeling, but you've incorporated formal structures and used informal materials. So what's the
Once
philosophy?
again, to keep the whole theme of the garden and also to fit in with the surrounding woods.
So that we know we're in Michigan.
Right.
You don't forget that, but yet you've got this great, and I like the scale of this arbor. It's too tall for me, even for you. But it
Well, by the end of the
in.
season and it's completely covered with all the vines, you still don't feel enclosed walking under it.
And I like the way the path leads you right to this gazebo, or actually it looks like a tower to me.
Actually, we do call it a gazebo. We had this built last year. It's 22 feet tall, 2 stories. Eventually, it will be totally covered with vines. We have about 5 different vines to grow up it all the way.
Can never have too many vines.
Never.
And this affords you an opportunity to have a place to get different views of your garden.
Actually, on the 2nd story, you pretty much can see the whole garden.
And you can appreciate the pathways. And this is actually another big circle, I just noticed,
Right.
all the way
Actually,
around.
this is a new garden as of this year. We're using lots of accent purple plants, barberries, smoke tree, beech.
What type of wood is this?
This is cedar. It's Michigan cedar. Came from Alpena, Michigan.
Alpena, Michigan.
Yes, which is
Where's
about
that?
4 hours north of here.
So this should last a long time.
Correct. We decided not to seal it or put any preservative on it, just so that it would turn this natural color and have a more rustic look to it.
And you can see that we are really in the woods. You've carved your garden right out of the woods.
Correct. One fun thing about the garden that I really enjoy, and I know Jim does as well, is the garden that we have on the road. It's a 280-foot perennial and annual bed. It's about 15 feet deep. It just seems to give the people driving by a real sense of enjoyment. A lot of times we've had people leave notes in the mailbox, or even come up and put a note in the door, or just drive in and just say thank you. So you get a lot of enjoyment out of that.
There's something very therapeutic about pulling out a few weeds and planting a couple plants and seeing them thrive and grow.
I never seem to get tired of it. It's a hobby, a profession, a passion, and a love.